I'm here with one of my good friends, one of my good buddies, one of the good guys in football or just on planet Earth from the NFL Network and NFL Game Day Morning. Mooch, Steve Mariucci, good to see you.
Good, Rich. Good to have you here. And you invited me to come here in this saloon or wherever we are right here.
Dan's got the saloon.
Okay, we have the hotel.
I've got the hotel.
Okay.
You're in the front lobby.
Look, I got my cowboy stuff on.
You do.
And I got my boots, my Wrangler shirt. You got Mr. Rogers looking stuff on here.
I do. I do. I went cardigan.
And I was hoping I'd get a black hat. I don't have a. Chris, where's a hat?
Yeah. Do we have a black hat?
We don't have
we got a brown one.
No, I don't
He
know.
doesn't want brown.
Brown doesn't work.
I think we should have a black cowboy. I mean, shoot, we have all these horses all over the place here and actual cowboys.
I think I saw a guy
with
a black hat that was riding the horse out there. Why don't you grab that one?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a white hat.
Yeah, that's a white hat guy out there.
This is pretty cool, Rich.
Thanks, Mooch.
So Caliendo, huh?
Caliendo's coming. Now, you remember when he was on the NFL media version of the podcast, we tried to prank you with him calling as John Madden. We had you for 2 seconds, right?
You know what? You know what happened?
Before you went, this is Caliendo, isn't it?
So Rich and Caliendo call me as John Madden, right? And it was right after the bocce ball event.
Yeah, your annual fundraiser.
Yeah, for 17 years we've been doing it. So Caliendo knows nothing about bocce. That's what messed him up. Oh. He sounded like John, but he didn't say the things that you need to say when you talk bocce. You can't deflate bocce balls, Rich.
Are you sure?
I tried.
Are you sure? There's no PSI issue with bocce balls?
No.
Have you ever heard anything crazier, Steve? Seriously, we've been doing this for a long time, just as you and I as members of the media, and you've been doing it even longer as a coach. Have you ever heard anything
No, I
like
haven't.
this?
The last time we were on, we were talking about Des Bryant's non-catch with the football. Right. Now we're talking about air pressure with the darn thing.
We're literally parsing things down to air, Steve. And now having a controversy over whether somebody should talk or not, you know, because Marshawn Lynch is heading to the podium. And you know, he did actually speak for a few minutes.
Today he did?
Yeah, he did. How does Pete Carroll just let this thing play out? And what does a head coach do with a guy who clearly doesn't want to talk?
He doesn't want to. So, I think it gives him a lot of anxiety to know he has to do that.
Right.
I mean, like, really makes him probably not sleep well at night. And so, while we're all obligated to speak to the media, and I say we as coaches and players,
yes,
some are better than others, some enjoy it more than others do. He hates it. And so, I don't know. I don't know.
Pete's got to sit him down, right, at some point and say, this is what's going to happen. We
well,
need
he avoided
you to do
the fine yesterday, right? Because that's why he went there, so he doesn't get fined.
So he doesn't get fined.
Did he clarify that?
I think 29 times he clarified. Even to Dion, he dropped that line, too.
I know. And he spoke to Dion last year a little bit, remember?
Yeah,
but
the action.
I hope he doesn't get fined. I hope he would use that money for his own foundation. He's got a heck of a foundation. Yeah. This guy does a lot of good. And we all know he's a great player, but he just hates doing it. So, you know what? Lighten it up with him, because he's just one of those guys that he just feels like he really hates it. He probably feels he's not very good at it. And let's just leave him alone.
Right.
That's my thought.
Steve Mariucci is here on the Rich Eisen show. So here's your black hat.
Can I go get it?
Yeah, go get it, Steve. Steve Mariucci is going to get his black hat.
We got you, buddy.
Which is it's against type. It's just against type.
Yeah. Oh.
There you go, Mooch.
It's a little tight. How does it look?
It looks great, Steve.
Now I need a horse.
Oh, we've got those. You want to do that?
Can you bring one in?
No, I don't think. I don't know if the town sheriff would allow that.
This is
Sheriff Long would do it if he could fit the horse through the door. I think Sheriff Long would do. But you can get out there after our chat together.
We'll get you out there.
We'll get you out there.
My daughter used to ride horses.
Right.
I put an end to that.
How much time would have it required for you to learn physics as a head coach? Because Belichick seemed to do it in a day and a half, Steve. I mean, does that speak to his brilliance more than anything that he's ever done football-wise? Ever?
You know, I was told when this, you know, we're all learning more about this week, right?
Yeah.
If the temperature drops 10 degrees for the ball, the pressure in the ball goes down 1 pound per 10 degrees. So, you follow this?
I'm so far.
You went to Michigan. I know you didn't take physics over there. So if it started low at the 12.5 thing,
right,
and the ball cooled a little bit because game temperature was cool. Now it goes down to 11 maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just grabbing at straws.
I know you are grabbing it. We all are, because, you know, it just, you know, let's just put this crap aside, to be very honest with you. I got you here, and the X's and O's of this game is what? What is it? What do you think? I know turnovers is always the barometer usually as to who wins the Super Bowl or who doesn't. What the X and O, the number one X's and O of Super Bowl 49 would be what, in your opinion, Steve Mariucci?
Well, you got a couple of quarterbacks that don't turn the ball over, which is why they're where they are. And if one does, like if Russell Wilson throws 4 picks in a game like this, it's over.
Crazy. Yeah, right.
It's not going to happen, though. He doesn't do that. He had 4 interceptions for, what, 9 games before that?
Right.
So, you know, this is going to be, there are so many great matchups in this game. Not start with the coaches, okay?
Sure.
But then you talk about, you know, LeGarrette Blount and Beast Mode. There's a couple of banger backs that are going to be playing in this game with a similar role.
So how do you stop either one of them?
Well, you load up the box, because you don't stop them with 7 in the box. And when I went back and watched that game in 2012,
yes,
the one that Seattle won 24-20, New England was winning 23-10 with 9 minutes to go in the game. They should have won that game.
The You Mad at Me Bro game back in 2012.
Yeah. Brady should have won that game. They had it in the 4th quarter, and then boom, big kickoff return, and a couple things happened. But in that game, you know, you had Cam Chancellor coming up, trying to cover Gronk man to man. While doing that, he's the 8th man in the box, so it sounds like a pretty good,
sure,
you know.
You think that's what Pete Carroll will do, is to drop Cam Chancellor in the box just in case LeGarrette Blount is coming downhill, and then trample Gronk on the way to the run? And you got because you have to jam him.
See, they tried it early and it didn't really work, because Gronk made some catches, and because he's hard to cover one-on-one in man coverage. He's just hard to cover. And then when you go play action pass, Cam Chancellor hesitated a couple times, and then there goes Gronk, and he's trailing them. Another completion. Pete got out of it. He started covering them with multiple guys, with zone coverage, with a variety, safety, linebacker, whatever, mix it, because it wasn't seemingly working.
Right.
But you got the corners. You know, did you see Doug Baldwin yesterday with Dion?
Right? Yeah, that was on NFL Network last night, because I know he was going at Dion after the NFC Championship game with Weich. He just used Weich's microphone to just say, "Hey, Dion, how do you like me now?" But these guys, I mean, we all know that they are very, very cocky, and but they walk it. I mean, these guys walk it.
You got Baldwin, who was an undrafted guy out of Stanford.
Yeah.
And he's playing pretty darn well, let's face it. And then you got the other guy, who was a walk-on over at Washington, for God's sake.
They had 3 quarters of some bad football in the NFC Championship game, though, Steve.
But you know what?
But when it
Their
came down to,
resiliency,
I know,
boom.
all of them. In the 4th quarter, I mean, Baldwin was the guy who in the go-ahead touchdown that led to the 2-point conversion. 3rd and 19? Well, that was in the 4th quarter that led to the fake field goal. That was a huge play. But Baldwin was part of the touchdown with 5 and change to go that gave them the go-ahead after the onside kick. And he had a big catch there, and he had a big catch in overtime. And we all know Kearse had the one after a lot of tip drill picks. A lot of the balls that were going off his hands were going for the interceptions you referred to.
All the picks were at Kearse.
And these guys.
How about this onside kick? Because Bostic, I did an XO on this. Okay, so Bostic is in the front line. They had all tight ends and fullbacks up there. They're to block. They're to go block. And let Jordy Nelson catch it. He went, "Oh, it's coming to me. I got to catch this thing," and he fumbled it.
I know, and Green Bay is not here, and Seattle is essentially because of that, even though there was an overtime. So how do you see it all working out? Who are you taking?
I don't know yet, Rich, because I'm waiting to see.
The final score is what? What's your final score you predict every single Thursday on
31-17.
That is do you know that, by the way, guys?
No.
Brockman and Law. Every Thursday night football. Every single one of them.
And in Wirtz's pool.
And in our pool, when we have to choose a score as a tiebreak, in our pool where, obviously we do straight up and for pride, in which Dion has lost 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So the loser has to buy the trophy for the winner. And Dion not only bought...
The last trophy that I won was this big, taller than Wirtz.
Yes, well, it's almost as tall as you, because Dion set that standard years ago, saying he wanted a Yao Ming trophy when he won. It's got to be as big as Yao Ming, the biggest trophy possible. I've bought it 1 year, but Dion lost last year, bought the trophy this year so late during the season that he already knew he was probably going to lose this year. He bought the trophy in advance already.
Yeah.
And the final score, Chris Wirtz, NFL Network producer, 31-17 is always Mooch's final score. So
never been right yet.
The only question. What is that? The watch is right at least twice a day, right?
Yeah.
So at some point you're going to be right. So the final score of Super Bowl 49 will be 31-17. The only question.
I'm not going to. I'm changing this year.
You are?
This is my 10th Super Bowl with you, Rich.
But Steve,
I got to change.
But you got to go with what brought you here. You don't do that. You know, as a coach, you got to go with what brought you here. You can't just switch up just because it's Super Bowl week.
You want me to go 31-17?
I think you have to. What if you don't do it and the final score is 31-17?
Oh, then I'll quit.
You can't do that.
All right, so that's fine. 31-17. I don't know who wins, though.
Now, also on Thursday Night Football, because we'll have to tune for game day morning for your pick, because you're going to have to make the pick on game day morning on Sunday.
That's when I'm making the pick officially. Okay. All this other shows, you know, in the hotels and saloons or wherever we're doing it, they're unofficial picks. All right.
Okay, and also on Thursday Night Football, one thing that Steve really enjoys is when the cheerleaders come and visit the set.
Oh yeah.
And so just for you, Steve. Just for you, Steve.
Yeah, you're just saying that.
Cue the Seattle drum line, please. And here will be here on the program, and Steve Mariucci, that's just for you.
You know what? So I walk in here, right, and I saw you guys. You notice them, and so this one right here, I go, that's the one with Richard Sherman 2 years ago.
You were the one who danced with Richard Sherman?
Remember that when Richard Sherman went?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That helps out. Hey, and they're back here again. The Seagulls are back here in the Super Bowl again. Thanks for coming in, Mooch.
Hey, yeah, and thanks you guys for coming out. Thanks for the hat, Chris.
The Blue Thunder drumline is here from Seattle. And JB Smoove when we come back. Frank Caliendo, hour number 3. Howie Long still to come. Your phone calls at 844-204-RICH as this Wednesday edition of the Rich Eisen Show with Steve Mariucci and the Seagulls and the drumline rolls on.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.